No, now it's recording.
Someone makes noise or anything. Someone makes a comment.
Fuck them.
See how they're trying to control you. I understand if you interrupt somebody.
If you have written communication
But if you
shared
don't make a
with the
side
board,
noise, that's your business.
Officer Cook is over to the side.
Why are
You
you so
can pass it to
insecure?
Dr. Brodsky, who has
Let's see that.
sometimes issues are presented to the board that require investigation to follow. If so, the matter will be referred to me, and we will investigate and you'll receive a response at a later date. We appreciate your understanding and your cooperation. Our goal is to conduct a professional meeting where every participant is treated with respect and is given an opportunity to have their voice heard. And thank you tonight for sharing your thoughts with the board in advance. All right, Ms. Pearl?
First person, Melody.
So if I introduce myself, does my clock not start and use that time up for that?
Oh, you already started.
Okay, so can you put it back? Cause I mean, if we're gonna.
That's okay. Go ahead and give your
So if we're
comments,
gonna
please.
introduce ourselves, then that's using our time, so.
One second. Could she reclaim her time, please?
Reclaim it. He said, yeah, he said restart.
Please start it over. Start it over. Get the clock going. Say what you want. Thank you.
All right, so I am Melody Perrin, and wanted to let people know that I taught for 42 years. And I live here in the district for over 46 years. Okay, so now you can start.
Oh, you already started.
Okay, so that's why people don't want to do that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Go ahead, come on.
I do, but I have a 3-minute talk.
Just start.
Okay. I want to thank you all for the demanding job you are willing to do here at CVS. Mr. King, I was so pleased and encouraged to hear you recognize the need for the community and board to work together and stop fighting. I think we all agree that is why we are here. We are all here to protect and make the best decisions for all children in a constructive manner. As parents and stakeholders, we too are in that process of making this district a safe environment for students to learn. However, it's the administration and the board that often creates the problems of disconnecting from the community. How do you create a constructive environment with the community? Active listening. The key word, active. To help effect this change, we oftentimes need to be reminded of skills we already have here at CVS. A couple of the Covey habits for successful environments that the district uses with staff and students. It appears that we are in a tug of war and wonder who will pull that knot across the line for a win. So habit 4, think win-win stays. You must collaborate more effectively by building high trust relationships. People have stated at times a lack of trust and transparency here. Habit 5, seek first to understand. It states, influence others by developing a deep understanding of their needs and perspective. Community does not feel that has happened or wouldn't continue to keep on coming. I recently read a book that spoke about the use of the X-ray machine as a magnificent tool that it is, that reveals the unknown and the unseen, providing us the opportunity to address problems. My grandson 2 weeks ago broke his arm, and he had no redness, no swelling, or no bruising, but he complained of the pain. It wasn't until the doctor took an X-ray that he saw the very tiny, tiny break. Then it could be fixed. That got me thinking of these board meetings and how you see us as thorns in your side, tuning us out and closing your minds to what is said each week when we speak before you. Instead, you could use us as Chippewa's personal X-ray machines that help to expose things, deficits, or concerns and issues such as the untrained media clerks, such as the adult books in the elementary schools, rather than as complainers. So let me encourage you to see the valuable X-ray machine you have available and consider sitting down in a forum or a town hall to discuss issues as the Covey habits teach for success of teamwork to build the best community relationships, as you, Mr. King, so succinctly encouraged us all to do. I close by asking you to use the readily available tools you have at your fingertips to produce a favorable outcome between yourselves and this community to benefit the children we all serve. Become active listeners and engage.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jerry.
My name is Jerry Perrin. I want to begin where I left off last time regarding the nuclear family. Several weeks ago, I asked you a question: what's better for society? The feminist worldview, whose goal is to eliminate the traditional family unit and to eradicate its heterosexual norms and replace them with sexual promiscuity, or the biblical worldview of the nuclear family consisting of a two-parent family, mother and father, directed by moral values. Let me tell you why the Judeo-Christian view of the nuclear family is better for society. The U.S. has the highest rate of single-parent households in the world. There's a high correlation between single-parent households and crime. According to research, children raised in single-parent households experience more physical and psychological problems compared to those raised in two-parent households. There are approximately 74 million children living in the United States. 15 million live in mother-only households. In a report by the AFPI, American First Policy Institute, 70% of juveniles in state-operated institutions and 85% of youth in prisons now come from fatherless homes. According to this report, fatherless children are 6 times more likely to live in poverty and commit criminal acts than children in dual-parent households, mother and father. 85% of American children with behavioral disorders have been raised by fatherless homes. Children raised without a father are also more likely to abuse drugs and exhibit delinquent behavior. Dr. Ben Carson, a neurosurgeon and former Secretary of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, also concurs that kids born out of wedlock or raised by single parents are tied to higher rates of poverty and crime. Dr. Carson continually rails against what he sees as a decline in traditional values and family structure. When visiting an urban school, he commented, quote, "We need to be talking about how do we instill values into people again, values of family and faith," unquote. Board members, that's the question for us. How do we instill values into our school district? Do we do it by our district promoting LGBT week or transgender day? Do we do it by assisting the feminist movement and normalizing adult books in children's libraries? Board members, what is better for society? What is better for mental health? A feminist worldview that tears down both traditional values and family, or a Judeo-Christian worldview that esteems both two-parent households and moral values?
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker is David Hiller.
Hello, David Hilliard. I live in Township. My kid goes to Ottawa Elementary. I'm here, honestly, slightly hungover because there are a lot of people who can't make it to these meetings who understand that it takes parents a lot of times to actually help assist kids with doing things. So to try to put it on the school board, to try to put it only on the teachers,
It's not me.
does seem kind of unfair. I think more questions should be asked is, what are the parents actually doing if they feel their children are not ready to understand things, or are they having the appropriate conversations with them? That always helps. So I'm here to do that and let the board know I understand you are doing everything you can do. You do already have systems in place for books and all these other things already. I do have something that popped up to me though, going over the emergency program. I think they mentioned that when they do tests, they send out a communication to the parents. I just want to confirm if that
is Jason Seifert. I live in Clinton Township. I grew up in Clinton Township. I've lived in this community almost all my life. I've come to the board again because of issues that my children are experiencing on the school bus. Now, I've come to you a few times where I talked about the violence that is happening on the school bus, and the violence has gone down. However, recently, and for anybody who might be offended by this, please, you might want to do earmuffs. A little boy pulled out his penis and peed on the bus floor. Now, my children are in 3rd and 5th grade. I do not want my daughters to see anybody's penis at this time. I'm imploring you to look at possibly finding a way that we can bring somebody on the bus to help the bus drivers. Bus drivers have a very hard task, I understand this, but we need help. I've heard my daughters tell me they've learned the F word. They've learned the N word. They've learned the C word. They've learned so many words that I didn't know about until high school.
Right.
And this is frustrating.
Yeah.
This is extremely frustrating because it's not your fault. It's not the school bus driver's fault. Unfortunately, it's parents' fault not taking an interest or not listening to their children.
Right.
I think we need harder, I would say, disciplinary actions. Thank you.
Right.
The little boy that did this was suspended for a week.
Should be expelled.
And I really think that from this point forward, their name should be on some type of a list where something like this happens again, you look at doing it a month. If it happens again after that, you lose your bus privilege.
Expel them from school.
You know, this is, to me, it's getting outrageous. Again, I'm just asking for your help. This is frustrating as a parent, and any help that you can provide, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments tonight. Next speaker is Rita Zielinski.
I've pointed out unconstitutional mandates for COVID, including closing schools, masking, hosting experimental vaccine clinics for profit, and potential money laundering from the teachers' pension funds from the state to the district, then back to the state. Governor Whitmer now wants to reclaim $670 million more from the teachers' pensions to pay for a growing government. So when do we stand up for our teachers? Chippewa has low proficiency scores, mental health and bullying, sexually explicit content, and more. I've stated that we were already at war, the world is on fire, and that the exit ramps are closed. These were not simply words. While many cling to their news and their press, others realize that when Obama reinstated the Smith-Mundt Act, the news was used as propaganda and it's used for psychological applications. My news comes from the people, from all 50 states and many countries. My news looks very different than the mainstream media. Though mainstream media's distractions, constant barrage of activism, creating sides and teams, and pitting us against each other has been extremely useful. We have witnessed what lurked in dark corners and has now come to light. We are witnessing the breakdown of an ill society on a daily basis. We are watching our representatives in the actions or the inactions that they take. We see the corruption, the imploding